Just making sure that we are streaming.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey!
Welcome to RoofSnap, one of our live webinars. If you are live with us today, thanks so much for joining. I'm Jason here at RoofSnap.
I'm Katrina.
Katrina and I, well, we work here at this wonderful software company that creates a product that measures roofs.
Yeah.
Right from your Android device or from your iOS device. The iOS version has a full functioning estimating platform as well, which will be coming soon to Android. And today we're going to show you how to measure a roof on an Acer Chromebook, which does have Android, Android components, I'm guessing, or Android. I know it has the Google Play Store. I can tell you that much. So for any of you who perhaps have one, it's a laptop, right? And it has Chrome OS installed, and it has the Google Play Store, which you can download RoofSnap on your Chromebook. These things, if I understand right, are about $300.
I think so. Yeah.
Fairly impressive device for the price. I've been using it for a couple days now, and I've really been quite surprised with how well, how well RoofSnap performs on this, how easy it is. Ooh, we bumped the computer there. How easy it is to measure roofs.
I've used it pretty extensively, and I've been pretty pleased with it.
Yeah, it logs in and out of our customers' accounts quite quickly. So today we're actually going to show you how to download RoofSnap from the Google Play Store on this Acer Chromebook, and then we're going to go in and measure a roof.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Let's go ahead and transition over. Here you can see the screen, the backdrop screen of the Chromebook, and can you see the mouse?
I can see it. I have better eyes, I think.
Well, this device is a touch device, but it does have a mouse pad, touchpad, where we can move the little mouse around. So I'll use that some of the time, but other points I'll be actually touching right on the screen, and you may not be able to see exactly what my fingers are doing, but we'll just kind of talk through it. So I'm going to click on the Google Play Store, and I'm going to put my cursor in here. Oh, there, I've got RoofSnap. I've already searched for it. So there it is on the Google Play Store.
Yay.
Yay, and click on that. Or I could have tapped on that, right? Just right with my finger. Here, of course, please check out our reviews and some of the screenshots and the overall ratings and on and on and on. But, of course, you'll see the install button here. Go ahead and tap on install. I already have it installed, so I'm just going to hit open. If you're installing fresh right now while you're watching this video, just give it a few seconds, let it download, and then as soon as it's installed, you'll see the open button as well. Now, if you're new to RoofSnap, you're going to want to, let's see, can I use the cursor? Yeah, I can kind of use the cursor here. You're going to want to tap right here on the sign up button. This is going to take you to our website, and then you can register for our free 14-day trial. We, of course, want everybody to have a chance to use RoofSnap before they commit to any sort of subscription or anything like that. So go ahead and sign up. We'll give you the first 14 days for free, and you can draw and measure as many roofs as you like. I have used my email address and my password, which is my username and password here, to go ahead and log in to RoofSnap. So type out yours and tap on the login button. And the first thing that we see when we log in are all of our projects. We are here in the projects view, and it's currently filtered by me since I'm the one who logged in. But if I want to see all the projects in my organization, since I am the admin on the account, I can tap on or click on this little X button here, and it's going to change and refilter, and now I can see all of the projects in my account. Well, if I come up here and tap on or click on the little filter button in the upper right hand corner, which actually I think we're a little off center. See, we need to pull the screen back over a little bit so that we are showing. So we're going to click back over to our full screen for a second and just reposition our screen slightly so that you don't miss any of that info on the side.
Perfect. All right, there we go.
There we go. So we have our filters up, and let's see, we can filter by project status. So let's go to just our new leads. Now we're seeing just everything in our new lead folder, but for the entire company. Let's go to filter again and filter by office. So you may have offices in different geographic locations. You may have a residential office and a commercial office. or you may have an office set up for insurance and then another office set up for cash jobs. So depending on how many offices you have, select the one that you want to filter by, and then you'll see all the jobs in those offices.
Great.
All of that set up for offices and things like that and users. We've got other videos for account setups. Check out one of those. But all that happens on our website at roofsnap.com. Let's add one more filter. Let's see what Katrina's been working on lately. So let's go by username and filter by Katrina.
Uh-oh.
And there.
So my secrets here.
Yeah, now we can see all of Katrina's most recent projects. Well, for today's purposes, I really just want to filter by me and only see my projects. So I'm going to go back to username. Oh, try that again. Filter, username, and Jason. Where am I? Oh,
On
I'm
the
at
very
the
top.
All right. I was like, is it alphabetical? All right, so today let's generate a new project. So I'm going to switch over. I'm going to not be using the mouse as much, but I may still use it to show you some of the different places where I'm touching on the screen. So I'm going to come down here and actually tap with my finger right on this plus button. And that opens up a new project tab, new project window. So let's tap right here in this area. And I'm going to use the keyboard here on this Chromebook to type in my project name. So it's webinar for the Acer Chromebook. I'm going to hit the tab button. Actually, no. I'm going to just bring my, my finger and tap right down here on this open space here and select the office. This one I want to go into my RoofSnap demo office. So I'm going to tap on that. The status, let's just keep it as a new lead.
Sounds good.
And then let's go ahead and tap here on the name, and let's give it, oh, I don't know. Trying to think of something creative, and nothing's coming to mind. There we go. Igor.
And let's get an address.
Yeah,
there.
Katrina, can you give me an address?
Yeah.
Love that.
I've got one. 3722
Okay.
Florian Drive.
Florian?
You got it.
All right.
That's in Columbus, Ohio, 43219.
Great. Now, if we have additional information for the customer, for example, phone number, email address, we'd want to go ahead and put that in here because that will populate dynamically on all of the documents that we can generate throughout the system. Billing information as well, if it's separate, and insurance details. We can fill out all this info. For today's purposes, though, I just need the address and, of course, the name. So once I've got all that figured out and typed in, I can click on or tap on the Done button in the upper right-hand corner. And there we go. Webinar Acer Chromebook, the address, the date that it was created. And now I'm just going to go ahead and tap right here where my cursor is with my finger right on the screen. And let's see. Details, well, that would take me back to where we were just at.
Sure.
So if I needed to modify any of the information, if I got the phone number wrong or something like that, I could go back. Sketch, that's what we have to do next. We actually sketch out the roof. Once we have the sketch done, we'll go into measurements, and then after that, we'll go in and create a PDF report of the measurements.
Perfect.
Great. So I'm going to tap right on the orange. Orange?
Orange?
There we go. So I tapped on it. It zoomed right in. It used Google to map the address and pull me right in on the house. So this is kind of two fingers. I kind of use two separate hands and I kind of pinch and pull apart to zoom in on the house. And trust me, we have some other videos where you can see the touch points right on the screen, and you might want to check those out if you're having any trouble drawing the lines of the roof, because you'll be able to see our gestures more clearly. But here again, it's just about showing functionality on this particular device. So we may go through the measurement portion of this a little more quickly than some of our other videos like Sketch 101
Sure.
or Measurements 101, where we really break it down one line at a time.
Yeah.
You know, there's some tree coverage here and some heavy shadows on that front section.
Yeah.
What do you think we should? Yeah, what do you think we should do about that?
Well, I think since there's a high res option up there in the top left,
Think we should
tap
give near
on
map a
that.
try?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So where it says tap here, let's go ahead and tap here and see what kind of near map addresses we have. So there's a purchase price of $5, some description here about Nearmap, and then these available dates here. Let's see, did my cursor come back? There we go. So we have different available dates. Most recent one is March 5th of 2017. We really want those spring dates. We've got another one in March, 2 in March of 2016, and April of 2015. So it looks like we've got 4 different spring dates.
That's great.
And that should be leaf off imagery.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's go ahead and tap on the purchase button. There we go. You will not be able to move the map after completing this purchase. Be sure that you are centered in on the desired roof. Well, I guess that's mostly true. We can still move the map. We can still rotate the map. We just can't move, like zoom in any further or zoom back out. We're kind of put into, you know, an area here on the map.
Sure.
So this is that, you can see up here in the upper left-hand corner, this is the March 5th date here. Is my cursor still showing up?
You know, in this screen, I do not see it.
No? Okay. So we're no cursors now. We'll just use all words. So in the upper left-hand corner, if I tap on there, it's going to show me all the available dates. And as I said earlier, I'm just interested in the spring imagery.
Sure.
So let's go to March 23rd of 2016. And that one's a lot better. You see how straight the rakes are.
Absolutely.
And there is some tree coverage, but most of the leaves are off the tree, so I could use this image. Let's tap it again, and let's just jump down to 2015 and try that April image. And this one's about the same, not quite as high res, because it's a little older, and still kind of some sparse buds on the tree there. Sure. So let's try March 22nd, 2016. And this one's nice and bright.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That looks good.
This is the one I like. My biggest tip for anyone who's using RoofSnap, to make this roof easier to draw, get it straight. Square it up now. Use 2 fingers on the screen to sort of rotate left and right. Take a second now. It'll save you time as you draw out the roof to make it good and square.
Absolutely.
As soon as you've got it square, just move it back to the center of the screen and go ahead and tap on Snap and start drawing in the upper right-hand corner.
That kind of locks that orientation in for us.
Yeah, the orientation's now set, but it's also reopening the image in a sort of the drawing window here.
Great.
We start in pan and zoom mode. You can see there are 4 buttons down here across the bottom. There's draw, there's edges, there's facets, and there's pan and zoom. And I like to really zoom in. Get the house about as big as it can be on the screen and start drawing out all the different lines. Well, let's switch to draw. When we put 1 finger on the screen, this cursor, this big cursor appears. And we just start. Put the cursor in the corner, but I'm not going to pick up that drawing finger. I'm just going to tap with another finger. I usually use my opposite hand, and when I get to the end, I can't pick up my finger. I have to tap again first. But when I tap, then I can just change direction and keep drawing. Come down to the ridge, tap on the screen again. Come to the edge of that ridge, use my cursor tails to kind of line it up, and I'm going to come down to the valley. And then tap again and come up the valley, and then tap again and come right back down that ridge, and then tap again and come across that rake. And don't go too far, but then tap again and come up that eave. And you can go in any order that you want. RoofSnap doesn't care as long as you connect your lines. And we'll do that here in a second. So I'm going to come across that eave. I'm going to tap again and come up that rake. And I'm going to tap again and come across that ridge. Now I need to make my first connection. So I'm going to tap, come up, and you see it locked right onto that point right there. And as soon as it locked onto that point, I tapped the screen and it locked it in. Let's do another connection. Let's connect from here up to the top of the valley here. You guys see that? So I want to, let's start at the bottom. Put my cursor down here at the bottom and I tap to start the line and I drag it out, and you notice the cursor will change and snap right to that point. As soon as it snaps, I tap on the screen and that locks it in.
Perfect.
Let's do another one. Let's come down this rake. So we put the cursor here, it snaps to it, I tap to start the line, come down the screen. As soon as it snaps, I tap again and lock it in.
Nice.
And I don't wait around. As soon as it locks to it, I tap on the screen to make sure I lock it in. Just in case my finger were to move too far, I don't want that cursor to move off that spot. All right, we've got 2 lines here to draw. So we'll tap to start the line off of that point, and then I get to the bottom. I'm going to line it up, then I'm going to tap and come up, and as soon as it snaps, tap on the screen, and then I can take my finger off.
Great.
Now watch what happens if I draw a line, but I don't tap. As soon as I take my finger off, the line goes away. If I draw the line and I do tap, now I take my finger off and the line stays there. Well, of course, now we've got a line we don't need.
What do we do with that?
Exactly. See the undo button right there where my crosshairs are?
I do.
Tap on that.
What if I drew that line like 8 lines ago?
Okay, so what you're saying is, let's say I messed up in this ridge here. This ridge right here wasn't drawn correctly, and I needed to delete that line.
Yeah.
And I don't want to undo like 15 lines to get to it.
Right.
Fair enough. Switch to edges. Down here in edges, there's a great little delete edge label, sort of a delete edge function.
Okay.
Highlight that by tapping on it, and then just tap right on that line.
Great.
And it makes that line disappear.
Great.
If you want to draw it back, go back to draw, and the same thing. You got to snap to the first line, tap, draw out the line, and then when you get to the intersection and it locks in on that, tap again.
Perfect.
Now, things may not always be perfectly straight the first time around. I feel like the top of my ridge here could be a little straighter. It's kind of crooked. So watch what happens. If I put my cursor on there for like literally a half a second, it picks it back up. And I can move it around. The Chromebook's great for this. It's really got a nice touch-sensitive screen. I'm quite fond of the way that it feels tactily when I pick up points and when I draw points. It's got a really good, surprisingly good touchscreen on it.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So this one, let's say we need to straighten these up a little bit here. So let's start at the top. Picks it up after about a half a second, makes that straight. That one's good. Let's come down to the bottom and pick this one up. So there, you know, I think it's good on the left, but I think it's the right side that's a little too high.
Yeah.
So I keep switching between pan and zoom for anybody who's wondering what's going on. Pan and zoom to move it around and zoom in and out, and then back to draw to get my cursor on the screen. So let's take the bottom and just move it down and over a little bit. Then let's grab the top one and move it down and over just a little bit, nice and straight. Tap as soon as you've got it locked into where you want it to be. And we have 2 lines left. 4 lines left to draw. So we're going to draw this first line down the rake. And keeping with straightness, center of the gutters. I always like to go to the center of the gutters. And tap and come across the back gutter. Now, I'm not going to try to connect it to this rake. That rake is several feet above. This is a lower section. There's an underhang here. So when I get to 20.1 feet, well, that's not far enough. I probably need to add about another foot of overhang. So what was that, 20.1? So let's go to 21.1. There we go. And make it level and add about a foot of overhang.
Makes sense.
Now I'll come down. It connects right here underneath this section. So what we'll do is we'll make it nice and straight, nice and level, and then tap and make a final little connector line and tap and then lift our finger off.
Great.
All right, so there's a goal here. The goal is that when we switch to facets mode, all of these individual roof slopes will be shaded blue.
Okay.
If one is not shaded in blue, it means that I did not connect my line correctly. So let's have a look. There we go.
All right.
Let's screw it up. Let's make it wrong. That way people can see what it looks like when it's not been drawn correctly.
That makes sense.
I'm going to delete this eave here by going to the delete edge again in edges mode, tap on it. Now I'm going to draw the line, not having correctly connected it there. And you know what? I'll even go a little bit further and I'll move it super close to make it even look like it's connected. But when I zoom in on that, you'll see, in fact, there's separation there. You can't physically connect a line to 2 points by moving it into place. You actually have to draw it initially to connect 2 points.
And that way it actually snaps.
Right.
And closes that in.
Exactly. It can't snap when you're moving it. It can only snap when you first drawing the line.
Gotcha.
So now even when I zoom all the way out, sure, it looks right. But when I go to facets, it's not shaded in. And as soon as you see that something's not shaded in, you're going to want to go in and say, oh, well, you know what? That line looks like it's connected, but I have my doubts. Delete it. And watch what happens when I redraw it one last time. It snaps to there. I tap to start the line. And you'll see the cursor just snap right to that point. You can almost feel it.
Yeah.
On some devices, like that Samsung phone we were using, you can actually feel it because it just vibrates a little bit when it snaps.
Crazy.
But not on the Chromebook.
But that cursor is nice and helpful. It gets that big, bright red color and, lets you know you've snapped.
Lets you know when you've snapped to close in your different roof sections. So now we can go to edges and do the primary function of the edges mode, and that's put down all of our edge types.
Okay.
So we have eaves, that's where the gutters go. And if we tap on eaves a second time, as I just did, I'm going to do it again. Tap on eaves once to highlight it, tap on eaves a second time, and I can add ice and water shield and eave edge, which is our designation for drip edge, and gutters. And let's leave it at that. Now I just tap right on each line. Oh no, what did I do?
Are you breaking things?
I might be. Let me go to unlabel. Let me go to eave edges and tap. There we go. I don't know. I must have messed something up. So just as a repeat, we'll use the ridges. So I tap on ridges, and then I tap on ridges a second time, and then I highlight ridge vent because I want ridge vent on all three ridges, and then I just tap on each ridge, and you'll see they change color, and they get the label, the ridge vent label that I want. Let's say I didn't want ridge on this front section. Excuse me. Let me clarify. Let's say I did not want ridge vent on that front section.
Gotcha.
Well, let's unhighlight ridge vent, tap on the ridge. Now it's just 25 feet. It's going to calculate, well, it's going to like give me a measurement so I know how much cap I need. But it's not going to give me it's not going to include ridge vent on that front 25 section. It's only going to calculate ridge vent on these other two sections.
Gotcha.
There we go. Let's leave it on all three. Actually, no. I changed my mind. Let's leave it off that front section.
Okay.
There we go. Now let's go back and we go to rakes and tap on rakes a second time. And let's get the rake edge, which is a designation for metal at the rake edges. And again, you wouldn't have to put rake metal on every single rake if there was some rakes that didn't need it or didn't call for it.
Sure.
And valleys. Tap on valleys, add ice and water shield by tapping on it that second time. And it looks like we have 4 lines left, and I always zoom in on these when they're so close together. They're just kind of hard to tap on without tapping on the wrong line. So let's jump back out to rakes, tap on rakes the second time, and you see rake edge was already highlighted for me. I don't have to go back in and reselect my sublabels.
Every time.
Yeah, it
That's
remembers.
great.
So if I'm
That's great.
switching back and forth, excuse me, and then step flashing. So we can add step flashing as a specific type of sort of material along the step wall, and ice and water shield as well. Tap, and then that little connector. Tap on that as well. Make them both step.
Okay.
So, are these measurements now fully and completely accurate?
No.
Katrina is right. Katrina is always right.
Oh, thank you for admitting.
That being said, none of these measurements are correct until we add pitch.
That's right.
So let's show them an example. So let's go to edges. 13.8 feet. Well, that's measuring at a 0.12.
Sure.
So we need to put pitch in, and then we'll see what that measurement changes to. And just for reference, we're on the front rakes.
Okay.
All right, so in the draw tool, in the draw mode, you'll see that we have Google Street View, we have Bing Bird's Eye View, we have Zillow that may or may not stay, depending on how useful our customers decide it is or is not.
Sure.
But let's go into Google Street View. Tap on that. And it's actually going to open up a little window within the app and take us right to this address in Google Street View. And wow, look at that. We can actually just pan and zoom around on the address. We can hit the little arrows to move. And any roofer who's ever roofed a roof can look at this roof and tell you the pitch value of this one. I'd put my money where my mouth is. I would bet $50 that this is a 412.
All right.
Watch, somebody will come back and be like, I went out and measured it, and it's a 5.
$50. You heard the man.
But here's the thing: when you're on site, yeah, if I'm wrong, I would definitely cough it up. But when you're on site, that's when you're gonna set your ladder, climb up on the roof. Not always all the way up on the roof. You know, different companies have different protocol. Some of the big companies, their insurance premiums are so outrageous that they can't afford the liability insurance to put men all the way up on the roof. Mm-hmm. So they'll climb the ladder, they'll get their chest up above the roof, they'll check the number of layers, they'll be able to get high enough to get some pictures without having to physically get off the ladder and get on the roof.
Gotcha.
You'll have a pitch gauge with you at that point as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you can set your pitch gauge right up on the roof and figure out at that point if it's a 412, a 512, or what have you.
Gotcha.
Let's check the other imagery, kind of see if we can get a better perspective. So we've got Bing's bird's eye view as well. And this is going to show us the house from lots of different angles around the roof.
So we can kind of see like the back of it and stuff like that.
We can look for bay windows. We can look for wings and ears and other like little sections of shingles that may be tucked up underneath overhangs and stuff like that.
That's great.
So again, Bing's bird's eye view opens up in a window within the app. And you have these little arrows next to the cardinal direction compass rose thingy on the far right. So you could just hit those little directional arrows and sort of rotate around the house. So we've already got a pretty good look at the front. So here we can look at the side. I think we can even, nope, we are at maximum zoom right now. There we go. So we can kind of move around. There's a tree back there and a tree in the front yard. So, you know, we can only see what nature lets us see.
Sure.
But, you know, here we're getting an idea. We drew that step wall. See, there is a couple feet between the lower roof and the upper roof. So as far as I can tell, we drew everything correctly. And I'm also thinking it's a 412.
He's very convicted in this 412 situation.
I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. But let's hit the done button.
Okay.
And assuming that I've assessed it correctly, let's go ahead and tap on facets. Then we can go to pitch. Tap on pitch in this little bar, this little drawer on the right here. Tap on 412. And now we have the option. We can hit apply to all and put it on every single slope at the same time, or we can just tap right on each one and make them all 4.
Gotcha.
Now, let's say the front wasn't 4. Let's say it was 5. We could go down to 5 and then just tap on those 4s and make them 5s.
Great.
Tap on the rest of them and make them 5s. You can do whatever you want at this point. So I'm going to keep them all at 4s just to see what our measurements look like with 412s.
And you know something that I noticed, Jason, I think you got overzealous when you were labeling the side here. I think that might be labeled as a step currently instead of a rake.
Yeah, I totally bumped it. Oh, looks like I bumped many lines that aren't rakes. Whew.
Good thing I've got the eyes for this.
Well, and the color, absolutely. So, thank you, Katrina.
Yeah, absolutely.
There we go. So, rake, ridge, step.
Got it.
Got it. Now, 13.8, if I remember right, was that measurement across the rake before we put pitch in. Was that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you can always rewind and go back and see. But now we'll go to edges again. And it's not going to get a lot longer. But you want to see it went up to 14.5 now that we've added that 412 pitch in.
So the app has calculated that as a linear foot that's going up the slope.
Yep.
Okay.
So all of the lines that will get longer once you add pitch. You know, I just did it again. There. I keep touching on lines. So here are all the lines that are going to get longer when you add pitch. It's going to be the rakes, the valleys, the step walls, and the hips. Yeah, we don't have any hips on this roof. On this roof, hips don't apply. It's a rhyme. It's not funny. And we have facets all labeled at 412. So that's pretty much it. We've got the measurements, we've got the pitches, we've got the labels.
Great.
So now we can go ahead and just tap on done. And yes, it does save that quickly, which we're very proud of.
Yes.
That's some good code.
It's very exciting.
Now we can go straight to measurements. Tap on the green tab here. And the waste percentage currently is going to be set to a 10% default, but you can change it. So that roof was rather simple, and some of you may want to actually bring that down to, say, 8%.
Okay.
Now it will recalculate the total squares based on that new waste factor.
Gotcha.
So let's go ahead and go back out, tap on project measurement, that little arrow to the left of project measurement, and now we can go to documents. Right now, the screen is blank because we haven't generated the document yet. But to generate the document, we're actually going to tap. Can we see my mouse again, my arrow?
No, unfortunately,
No,
I'm not
still
seeing
not
it.
back. No, darn it. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and tap where it says Sketch Report in the far right corner, upper right corner. And this is going to go ahead and generate a Sketch Report PDF. There it goes.
All right.
All right. Oh, not quite.
Loading
It's
up
still
that
loading.
report.
There it is. So we have the sketchreport.pdf now, and I'm just going to tap right on the PDF document, right on the PDF document, and it's going to open it up in my browser. So here we have the project name, the address, the customer information. If we had the phone number and all that stuff would appear here as well. My information, of course, as the salesman is going to be on here with my phone number and my email address. Then a breakdown of the roof by pitch. Then on the next page, a breakdown of all the measurements with the drawing. And then the actual squares before waste, and then the total squares with waste. And then the eaves, rakes, ridges, hips, valleys, all of the different line measurements, and all of those category measurements, which come from the sublabels. So we put ice and water shield at the eaves, in the valleys, and up the step walls. It's going to create a running total. 172 linear feet of ice and water shield is what we would need for applying it to all those areas where we added it as labels.
Great.
412 is the total square. If we had multiple pitch values, it would break it down for the multiple pitch values. And then it will show a calculation of all of the areas of each section of the roof.
Wonderful.
And then from here, there we go. We can download it. We can print it. And we can do this little arrow. I have no idea. Oh, we can rotate it.
Oh.
So
we're still learning.
Yeah,
the
I didn't know what that button was going to
here.
do.
Yeah.
But ultimately, we can hit the download button and go ahead and download it right into our Chromebook.
Great.
Yep. So let's go ahead and cancel that. We don't need to download it right now because, again, it is saved in the cloud. It will always be available to us in RoofSnap just by logging back in and accessing our document. So I'm going to go back into RoofSnap. There we go. And I'm going to go back to Documents here and hit the back button again and come all the way back out to Projects. Now you'll see on the left we have Project Map. This is something that currently exists on our iOS version. We're rebuilding it to run on our Android version as well. So you'll see that the project map is coming soon. A brand new dashboard for sales is coming soon as well. And of course, additional settings that we're building are all in production right now. So we'll have those over the next few months. That being said, just be sure to check back with the Google Play Store as frequently as possible. And update whenever there's an update available. It's going to bring new features and new functionality.
Absolutely. And this is the first release of the Android version, so we're very proud to have this out in the world.
Well, and we've made 2 or 3 updates already, just from little performance things that we found. So if you're watching this, chances are that an update is already available. If you've even installed it a week ago, there's probably an update already available that you can go and grab from the Google Play Store.
Absolutely.
Yep. Well, that's pretty much it for today. Thank you guys so much for joining us. As always, if you like what we are doing here, please click on this to subscribe to our channel. And then if you want to sign up for our 14-day trial, we'll put that right there, more or less. And then if you want to see another video, we'll put it right there. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks.
Have a great one.